Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Kopijana Valapa Girivaradari Kopijana Valapa Girivaradari Yashodanandana Bhajana Ranjana Yashodanandana Bhajana Ranjana Yamunatira Anachari Yamunatira Vanachari Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jam Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parivrajacharya Ashtotra Shatashishamad His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai Grantaraj srimadbhagavatam Ki Jai. All glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So fourth canto, Creation of the Fourth Order, Chapter 18, Prithu Maharaj milks the Earth Planet, Text 11. We'll read 12 and 13. Alright, so there's no verse on the board, so I could just chant it. Unless you could find it quick. You could find it. Yep. Okay. Samam cha kurumam rajan deva vrishtan apartavapi badram te upavartita me vibho Samam cha gurumam rajan Deva Vrishtam Yatapayaha Partavapi Bhadram Te Apavartain Tamevabo. Please chant. Word by word translation. Samam, equally level. Cha, also. Kuru, make. Mam, me. Rajan, O king. Deva Vrishtam, fallen as rain by the mercy of King Indra. Yata, so that. Payaha, water. Aparitau, when the rainy season has ceased. Api, even. Bhadram, auspiciousness. Te, unto you. Pavarteta, it can remain. Me, on me. Vibho, O Lord. Translation. My dear King, may I inform you that you have to make the entire surface of the globe level. This will help me, even when the rainy season has ceased. Rainfall comes by the mercy of King Indra. Rainfall will remain on the surface of the globe, always keeping the earth moistened, and thus it will be auspicious for all kinds of production. Purport. King Indra of the heavenly planets is in charge of throwing thunderbolts and giving rainfall. Generally, thunderbolts are thrown on the tops of hills in order to break them to pieces. As these pieces are spread asunder in due course of time, the surface of the globe gradually becomes fit for agriculture. Level land is especially conducive to the production of grain. Thus the planet Earth requested Mars Prithu to level the surface of the earth, breaking up the high land and mountains. Text 12. After hearing the auspicious and pleasing words of the planet Earth, the king accepted them. He then transformed Swayambhuva Manu into a calf and milked all the herbs and grains from the earth in the form of a cow, keeping them in his cupped hands. Others who were as intelligent as King Prithu also took the essence out of the earthly planet. Indeed, everyone took this opportunity to follow the footsteps of King Prithu and get whatever he desired from the planet Earth. Purport. The planet Earth is called Vasundhara. The word Vasu means wealth, and Dara means one who holds. All creatures within the earth fulfill the necessities required for human beings, and all living entities can be taken out of the earth by the proper means. As suggested by the planet Earth and accepted and initiated by King Prithu, whatever is taken from the earth, either from the mines, from the surface of the globe, or from the atmosphere, should always be considered the property of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and should be used for yajna, Lord Vishnu. As soon as the process of yajna is stopped, the earth will withhold all productions, vegetables, trees, plants, fruits, flowers, other agricultural products, and minerals. As confirmed in Bhagavad Gita, the process of yajna was instituted from the beginning of creation. By the regular performance of yajna, the equal distribution of wealth, and the restriction of sense gratification, the entire world will be made peaceful and prosperous. As already mentioned, in this age of Kali, the simple performance of Sankirtan Yajna, holding of festivals as initiated by the International Society for Krishna Consciousness, should be introduced in every town and village. Intelligent men should encourage the performance of Sankirtan Yajna by their personal behavior. This means that they should follow the process of austerity by restricting themselves from illicit sex life, meat eating, gambling, and intoxication. Intelligent men, or the Brahmins of society, would follow the rules and regulations, certain the entire face of this present world, which is in such a chaotic condition, would change, and people would be happy and prosperous. Om Gyanatipadandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshilanmilitam Mena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Mukam Kritivachalam Pangam Nangaite Girim Yakripatamaham Vande Shri Gurun Diditadinam Vancha Kopadrivishya Kripa Sindhu Byevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaura Bhaktivinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So, Mother Earth is cooperating now with Prithu Maharaj, and she's going to start supplying all the different necessities for the humans and other entities. So, Prithu Maharaj, his pleading and his, you could say even, in some ways he was threatening Mother Earth. So all of this is, whatever he's been doing to get Mother Earth to cooperate with him is working. And therefore, Prithu Maharaj, he's not full Krishna, but he's an empowered representative of Krishna. He has this, I think it's called the Pala Shakti, which means the ability to rule over people and the world successfully. So that's what he's empowered to do. And here Srila Prabhupada's mentioned in the purport that the humans, us, the people within this world, should be careful that everything that they have and everything in creation is actually the property of Krishna. Krishna says it in the Bhagavad Gita, Bhoktaram yagyatapasam sarvalokam heshwaram suridam sarvabhutanam gatvamam shantam richati. So he says that one who understands that all the planets, Bhoktaram yagyatapasam sarvalokam maheshwaram, all the loka, sarva loka means all the planets, maheshwaram, I'm the proprietor of those. I'm the enjoyer of all sacrifices, Bhaktanam Yagya Tapasam Sarvalokmesh. Suridam Sarvabhutanam, I am the friend, well-wisher of all living entities. For that person, they get peace. They get freedom from the pangs of material existence. So yeah, for devotees to realize that, and for people in general to realize that, is of the utmost importance, because that is just reality, that Krishna's He's the proprietor of everything. And therefore the idea is that as humans, we are meant to engage in yajna, or specifically whatever we have, we're supposed to sacrifice it for Krishna. And that's not supposed to be a miserable thing. That's supposed to be a blissful thing. But interesting enough, it may be a miserable thing for people who are attached. Oh, that's so difficult to give up things, to use things in Krishna service. They think it's miserable, but it's not. Just like it says in the Bhagavad Gita that sannyas without yoga is simply misery, simply pain. So this idea of sannyas means you just give up, right? You give up everything and you engage your whole body, your mind, your words in Krishna service. But Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita that that type of life, if you're just trying to renounce without yoga or without connection to Krishna, it's just suffering. It's just suffering. So some people in this world, some, whether they're devotees or non-devotees, if they try to become detached from this world, it's actually a very painful thing because they're so attached to it. So the idea is that the best thing is that if we become attached to Krishna, because if we become naturally attached to Krishna, we become detached from trying to enjoy this world or trying to just be a out and out materialist, trying to live without Krishna. Or else it'd be very, very difficult if we just try to become detached without becoming attached to Krishna. It becomes very, very difficult, and practically it's impossible. We have to become attached to Krishna if we want to become detached from this world, or else we'll be forced to be very absorbed in this world. We'll be forced to become worldly sense enjoyers. Because again, sannyas without yoga is simply dukkha or misery. So even if we're devotees, if we do not become attached to Krishna, then again we'll be forced actually by material nature, by our own material desires, to become worldly sense enjoyers. Just like sometimes people, here it's mentioning that we should, follow, or we should engage ourselves in, specifically in this age of Kali, in the performance of Sankirtan Yoga, and then Srila Prabhupada says the holding of festivals is initiated by ISKCON. Should be introduced in every town and village. So we have our Rath Yatras all over the world. We have our festivals, Radhastami, Janmashtami, so many festivals. And Srila Prabhupada said that if people are engaged in this simple process, then they'll be happy and prosperous. And that's what intelligent people do. And it says that they should follow principles. It says that the intelligent men should encourage the performance of Sankirtan Yoga by their personal behavior. This means that they should follow the process of austerity by restricting themselves from illicit sex, intoxication, gambling, and meeting. So this, following these principles, is living, at least to some degree, a detached life. It means detached from this world type of lifestyle, following these principles. But again, some people, they have a hard time with that. They have a hard time following the principles. It's difficult for them. Although they may be very simple and easy for others, it's difficult for some. Just like there's one devotee, and he's a very nice devotee, and very serious in many ways. And he's married to he is married to a woman, a wife of his, and he has a son. And the wife just cannot stop eating fish. It's just like she just can't do it. And the husband, have asked her. They've argued. They've talked. This woman, she's talked with devotees, and she just can't stop eating fish. That's just how she grew up, and she doesn't see a problem with it. Whatever it is, she's just really attached to eating fish. And you could say that's unfortunate, because following these different principles, it allows us to have a peaceful mind. It allows us to actually be Krishna conscious, because we follow the principles and we add the practices of Krishna consciousness. And if one's breaking the principles, it's actually very difficult to be Krishna conscious. That's why we're advised to follow them, because without following them, it's very difficult to be Krishna conscious. You could still be Krishna conscious. I mean, there's people do all types of things, and they're devotees or and they're Krishna conscious to some degree. But to be really Krishna conscious, or to make progress, one has to follow the principles of the four regulatory principles. So yeah, that's important. And sometimes people they wonder, okay, why do people leave? Why do people leave Krishna consciousness? And Prabhupada would say different things. I mean, one thing that's quoted is that 50% is your fault, right? Means the devotees who's supposed to be looking after that person, 50% is their fault, and 50% is the person who's left fault. So that's one way of looking at it. And in terms of that way, it's like, okay, have we done everything in our capacity to help this person, to encourage this person, to have we created a nice environment that is uplifting and Krishna conscious? How do we treat this person, etc., right? So they can analyze that. And then another thing is that, okay, this person, obviously they have material desires, they have many things they want to do that has nothing to do with Krishna, and so these things, all mix up and the person may leave. 50% our fault, 50% their fault. And then Prabhupada would also say that, at least devotees quote, and don't be surprised who goes, be surprised who stays. So it's not super surprising when somebody goes, because after all, we're in the material world, and material world is going in a particular direction, and it's not towards Krishna. Means it's ultimately everything is going towards Krishna, but not directly going towards Krishna. There's a lot of different roundabout ways it's going towards Krishna. So it's not surprising when somebody leaves, because it's not exactly easy to stay. But in terms of 50-50, that 50-50 thing Prabhupada was saying, I mean, it is, you could say, an important instruction for us, because it makes us think that, okay, I need to try as hard as possible to create a Krishna conscious environment and encourage people, and then, so that's important to think about. But really, when it boils down to it, I mean, what's really holding people back? Is it other people? Is it Krishna? Is it the material nature? What's really holding people back? And really, when it comes down to it, the Srimad Bhagavatam and other books says that it's really the individual that's really holding themselves back. Their lack of desire to attain the goal. So that's important also to think about, that a lot of it has to do with the individual, because after all, there's no material impediments. There's nothing that could really get in our way unless we let it get in our way. So, But really, and also, really boiling it down, a lot of the times people leave because they're attracted to sinful life. That's the basic reason people leave. They're attracted to sinful life. And sinful life means illicit sex, intoxication, gambling, and meeting, this inclination to do these things. Some people can't control. Just like just like brahmacharis. I mean, brahmacharis leave. It's not that they're, maybe full on attracted to sinful life, but a lot of the times brahmacharis leave because they're having a hard time kicking the desire for stri sangha, which means association with women. Now, of course, as we know, we don't accept that women are evil or something, or they're like anything like that. Yeah, the devil, the devil incarnated, or they're placed on this planet just to mess everybody's life up or something like that. Of course, the Bhagavatam does say, the third canto says that for man, women means this whole materialistic mindset where the Krishna is completely absent from the picture. They're considered illusion for men, but also women, also men are considered illusion for women. Means if not dealt with properly, it could be a trap for the soul. So yeah, it's not so easy. So someone may say, "Hey, well, I'm not out and out sinful. I'm still a devotee. I'm not engaged in illicit sex and meat eating and intoxication and gambling. I'm a devotee." So yeah, that's good. That's true. But just following, of course, Srila Prabhupada said, follow the 4 regulative principles, chant 16 rounds, do your best to spread the Sankirtan mission, and I'll take you back to Godhead. But still, we shouldn't, you could say, try to just wholly and solely depend on the mercy of the spiritual master, mercy of Krishna, because that may develop within us a bit of a lazy mentality that, hey, let me retire here, let me kick back, let me put my feet up type of mentality, which Prabhupada wasn't really into. Srila Prabhupada made a comment in his Chaitanya Charitamrita a few times, or he would say a few times that when the spiritual master becomes old, sometimes he retires, and there's a few disciples, they take care of him, and then he lets his disciples, the elder disciples, manage things, take care of things. So Prabhupada said that, but practically speaking, and even till the last few hours, Prabhupada was very engaged. You could say in some ways, Prabhupada didn't retire until those last moments. So we should be, you could say, interested in not so much, retirement, but more so in service. Because really, when one retires from material duties, it means they should engage in service. Like sometimes devotees, they retire and they don't know what to do with themselves. They've been working they've been working all their whole life, and then they retire and they're 60 or 65 or however old, when people can retire and they don't know what to do with themselves, and they just, and they have to get another job, which is like kind of depressing actually, because there's so much to do for Krishna. We have so much deity worship, we have so much preaching, we have so much things that could be done. So yes, following the 4 regulative principles is important, but you could say more, you could say really underlying, or you could say going deeper into the 4 regulative principles means understanding them on a deeper level, is that no illicit sex life means that people, whoever they are, and also householders, and give up Stri Sangha means the whole mood of enjoying that, association with women and family and all this type of things, and not being as Krishna conscious as we should. Just like men are enjoined eventually to take sannyas, and if they're not going to do that, okay, fine, take vanaprast, but be it in more of a renounced position, and also women, they should be in a more, as time goes on. Not that it's like, you know, for years on end, it's just a never-ending lifestyle where we're not as fully Krishna conscious as we should. So illicit sex, and then meat eating, meat, fish, and eggs. The real, you could say, deeper understanding of that, we should just take Krishna prasad, and food offered to Krishna, which sometimes devotees have a hard time doing, just taking Krishna prasad. I don't know, it's difficult, you know. It's quite a big world, you know. You could order this, order that, you know, call up the local pizza place or whatever. I don't know, but it's vegan, yeah. That's why in Dallas they have this Mataji. She's a Tamal Krishna Goswami disciple. Maharaj told her, you should learn how to make pizza very nicely. Maharaj liked pizza. I don't know if as much as Gunagari Swami liked pizza, but Tamal Krishna Goswami liked pizza. So he had one of his disciples, her name is Padma. She made pizza. She makes pizza. She still makes pizza, and what she does is devotees order pizza from her. They call her up, and she makes pizza, and she puts it in a box, and delivers it to them. That's nice community like that. So gambling, intoxication. So yeah, there's different things, and you could say deeper understanding of following these things, and yeah, we should try to do that. And Srila Prabhupada said that if that's introduced in this world, then people will be happy and prosperous. People will be really happy. But one cannot really follow those unless one has a higher taste, and that's what Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita. Dhyato vishyan pumsa sangasteshu bhajayate. So he says that the conditioned soul may be restricted from the objects of the senses and still may have some attachment for them or some attraction for them, but by experiencing a higher taste, their fixed in conscience, they're able to follow. So, and then Prabhupada gives the hint, or very clear hint, open secret, that by holding festivals put on by ISKCON, then one can develop that higher taste. And therefore nectar devotion, that's like an injunction, the nectar devotion, that one attends the festivals for the pleasure of the deity. And the deity is Radha Giridhari and all the other, Jagannath, Baladev, Subhadra, and Gaurnitai, and Govardhan, all the deities. They are there for us to serve and meditate on and worship and give us shelter in this world. They're here to give us shelter. And there's so many wonderful things we could do for the deity, and it's an amazing opportunity, actually. And therefore devotees, just like we were talking about yesterday, devotees, sometimes they say, oh, well, we can't see Radharani's lotus feet on Radhastami anymore, or Gopashtami, and devotees were bringing up the point, okay, well, you could take first initiation, take second initiation, and then you could go on the altar, and you could see the deity's feet. She could see Srimati Radharani's feet. You could see, Giridhari's feet. And I always think that, of course, from the temple, seeing the deities is beautiful and darshan. But really getting up close is special. You get a special darshan. You're like really close. So devotees could take that opportunity. That's what the deities are here for, to give us some mercy. And Srila Prabhupada said that in Vrindavan, 1977, Prabhupada told Tamal Krishna Goswami, because Prabhupada was thinking about the deity worship of Krishna Balarama and other deities, and Prabhupada said that, the Pujari said they're the most fortunate people in the world. So those Prabhupada's, he was thinking about that. So there's so many ways in which we could experience a higher taste, deity worship, chanting the holy name, so many ways. And in this way we're able to follow. And people are able to follow. But as Prabhupada said, it's like a razor's, it's like a razor's razor blade, razor's edge. So sometimes, we have to be careful. I mean, not sometimes, we have to be careful all the time, because, a razor could, give you a nice haircut, like Glenn got his nice haircut here. But it might cause some problems too. So, yeah. All right, does anyone have any questions or?
You have a question? You look to see if anyone else has a question.
Thank you, Balaram. It's funny how you mentioned people work their whole life, and then when it's time for retirement, they don't know what to do with themselves. One of my residents' son, he's been working since he was in high school, and now he's finally retired. So I always ask this resident, what is your son planning to do with his life now? And she always says he doesn't know what to do with his life. He's going swimming, he's doing this, but he doesn't have any goals in life, and he has all this time to do whatever he would like to do, but he doesn't know what to do. So it's unfortunate.
Karandar, when I was a bhakta, he was telling all of us that they would, Prabhupada would go to different places, and he drove past the Beverly Hills Golf Club. Prabhupada looked out and said, "What are they doing?" And Karandar said, "Well, Prabhupada, they take a stick and they knock a ball into a hole 16 times, different holes, and there's a challenge." Prabhupada shook his head and said, "It is simply invented for old men to waste time." What to do? And we have the example of Shukadev Goswami. I mean, not Shukadev Goswami. Maharaj Parikshit, when he was cursed to die, what did he do? Immediately sat by the banks of the Ganga. He took it as Krishna's mercy. He actually said, I was just listening to a tape, he could have canceled it. He could have nullified the curse and gone on. He was such a powerful personality. But he actually, in the core of his heart, thought, this is an excuse. I can get out from under this kingdom and all my entanglements and just focus and go back home, back to Godhead. So what to do with time?
Yeah, so that's the idea that, as Bhajanarayan Swami is saying, and Glenn's bringing up, that, like if we get time, it's an opportunity where we can increase our service, or we could do something, good for people. We have the BBT, they're printing thousands of books every year, so we could pass out books, there's so much deity worship, so much cooking, so many, wonderful things you could do. And devotees who are fortunate, they do that. Like Parashakti, she retired and said, okay, sign me up. And, she's doing noon artis and cooking for the deities and, making all these sweets, She likes making all these sweets for the deities and, sweeping around the pujari room. And it's a good example. She's doing that. It's nice, She had the right idea from her early training, early days training, yeah. So, you have a comment or question?
So you started this pravachan with talking about Mother Earth and respect of Earth and how she provides us everything, and yet sometimes man does things that pollutes it, destroys it. In fact, right now, unfortunately, the current political position is horrid with climate change, and we do have science. And some people believe in it, and some people don't. And there is evidence that, yes, we are harming Mother Earth. So I'm just curious, what is ISKCON's position on this climate change and this Kali Yuga? Because we're kind of both coming in at the same time, and this administration is just downright evil when it comes to climate change.
Yeah. Yeah, it really depends on who you ask, because I mean, there's like, you could say, some official positions on certain things, on many things.
Sure.
But on certain things, depending on what devotees you ask, there's, different ideas.
It is a controversial
Because,
topic,
like, there's, devotees who, quoting, even monks of philosophy, they're quoting Prabhupada's books, and to justify or to prove what they're trying to prove. Like, whatever someone will say, women could become gurus, and right here Prabhupada says in his books, conversation, this and that, and someone will say, well, no, they can't become guru, Diksha gurus, and then
Right.
in his books right here. So, there's like different devotees, but that's why Prabhupada said that we should all get together and chant Hare Krishna, because we could all agree on that. So in terms of climate change, I don't think there's like a official position of ISKCON that ISKCON
Right.
has on it, but depends on who you ask. But the basic thing is that, we should learn how to respect Mother Earth and everything and everyone, and in this way things will go on more harmoniously and not.
Okay.
But as it's been stated here, I mean, if people, like, for example, if it rains too much or rains too little, that's an indication that people's sinful activities, Mother Earth is responding to that. The devas, the demigods. So these different natural disturbances are a lot of sinful activities going on. Just like Prabhupada says about meat eating, he says that, people allow so much cow slaughter, and then every 10 years or so there's a big war in which so many people are killed, and Prabhupada said that it's because of that meat eating. Yeah.
Balarama has hit the bottom line is, there's so many problems. Which one do you want to take? So the point is that, okay, there's Save the Whales, there's, the environmental, there's political issues, there's some, but what do you actually do? It's like whack-a-mole, you knock one down and another thing's coming up, and so ultimately, unless you go to the root of the problem, which is a lack of Krishna consciousness, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, Prabhupada's guru, used to say the only shortage in this world is a shortage of God consciousness. So really, if you want to solve the issue, you've got to, if you want a comprehensive systemic solution, you've got to go to the root cause. Instead of all these into the pipe solutions, you've got to go to the root cause. If one becomes one of the biggest causes of global warming is the beef industry. Yeah, one of the main reasons they're clearing the Amazon forest, which they don't quite like to mention, is to raise beef. The lungs of the world they're butchering to feed McDonald's. So, you become a vegetarian, you take Krishna Prasadam, automatically you're a vegetarian, automatically it helps with climate change and all of that stuff. But as far as the reality of climate change, it's described in the Bhagavatam that is Kali Yuga, everything decreases. Everything, I'm going to finish, okay? Everything gets worse. Everything dries up. The fruit is worse, the grains are worse, the medicinal herbs have less potency. Everything decreases, so naturally it's happening. And on just a practical basis, my niece has a PhD in oceanography, climatology. She spent 2 spells of 6 months drilling into the ice cores. So I asked her, I said, to measure global warming, and that's what she does. She's at Woods Hole there in whatever it is, one of the best oceanography places. I said, so, Kate, that's her name, what's the story, Is it just a blip? We've seen so much, She says, no. They used to grow, wheat and grapes on Greenland. So the planet, and they've got proof of it. So there are ebbs and flows. There's warming periods and cooling. Okay, fine. However, the rate of warming due to, man-made influence, it's profoundly, more rapid than any, over 1,000 years, this or that. I mean, there was a time that was much, much colder in Europe. There was a time that was much, much warmer in Europe. Sure, there's variations in climate, but what's happening now is profoundly accelerated by our influence of, all the, the whole story. So, yes, global warming is a dangerous fact. It's predicted in the Bhagavatam that everything will dry up. The water becomes less, the food like I said. And, okay, fine, what do? Wring our hands and cry? No, become Krishna conscious. That's the systemic cure. Okay.
All right, Jai. Thank you.
That was good over the line.
Jai. Gantrad Srimad Bhagavatam ki Jai.